What's up, everybody? I'm David.
I'm Jess.
I'm the husband.
I'm the wife.
And we are married
15 to life.
How are you doing, honey?
I'm doing good.
This is our Thanksgiving episode.
Yay.
Are you thankful for it?
I'm very thankful for it.
I'm thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you too.
I'm thankful for Nate
And Lucy.
and Mark
And Layla.
and our house and where we live.
And everything else.
And everything else. And for God and for Jesus. And so when we go around the table, our Thanksgiving talks take a long time because we're thankful for so much. But this is truly one of my favorite times of the year. I don't know about you, but my favorite time of the year, I always make the joking. People go, what's your favorite season? And I'm like, well, here's the problem. My favorite season actually overlaps 2 seasons because my favorite time of the year, if you said, okay, well, then what's your favorite 3 months? Here's my favorite 3 months. Y'all ready for this? From mid-November to mid-February. So I think it's like just around the 3-month period.
See,
So
January and February is depressing to me. I like October through December.
Well, see, here's my thing. For me, Christmas, New Year's, my birthday, Mark's birthday, Valentine's Day.
I like all the birthdays,
It's such a stretch of great time. Your birthday. It's such a great time.
Good catch. The dreariness of January and February, I don't like. It's almost like the letdown of all the holidays, and then
But because that stuff is there, it perks me back up.
I'm not saying there's not good parts.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so we're gonna be doing some Thanksgiving talk today. Let's just talk real quick. If you had to place Thanksgiving in your top, let's say 10 favorite holidays, what number would you put it at?
it would be pretty high for me, honestly. You always think I don't like Thanksgiving, and that's because I don't like Thanksgiving food. I do like Thanksgiving. I like where it is in the year. I think it kicks off Christmas. I love the way that it's very much about family, being grateful, all of that kind of thing. The vibe of Thanksgiving I like. I would probably put it at like number 2, with Christmas being number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I always think that it also depends on the setting because sometimes Thanksgiving is not easy because having a special needs child, the food, not only because of you, but also there's not much Thanksgiving food that our kids will eat.
They don't eat any of it.
And so just the inconvenience of it.
When I think about Thanksgiving, I'm not necessarily thinking about the meal.
I know you're not, but the meal is the center point of the day usually.
It is, but like I'm talking about the whole like weekend,
I know.
like the whole thing of it, the whole traveling to see family. Like there's very few other holidays that we get to have more than just one day.
Right.
You know? Like I love my number 3 would probably be Valentine's Day. I know everybody says it's a Hallmark holiday. I love Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. But it's one day.
Right.
We don't like go see your family for 3 days, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Thanksgiving for me is number 3.
Wow. See, I like Thanksgiving more than you.
Yeah, it's number 3 for me. I've always.
I know what yours is.
Okay, what's number 1?
Christmas.
Yep.
4th of July.
That's correct.
See, I knew it.
Yep. 4th of July is my number 2, and it always has been.
I like it, but it's too hot.
I love it because there will be a pool nearby. There are fireworks. There is family. There is hot dogs. There is hamburgers. There is picnic food.
It's fun.
There's homemade ice cream when you're at my mom's house.
It's fun.
It's so good. It's so good.
It, but.
And it also is the only real major holiday of the summer. You know, you have Father's Day, but Father's Day is typically before June 21st, which is when summer starts. Yeah. You know, so it's the only real holiday of the summer, and so I love it. It's a great time, but I do love Thanksgiving. I love the changing colors. I love the cool breeze that is outside usually when it happens. I love football. Most of the best football is played around the Thanksgiving season, especially in Alabama. The biggest game of the year for us, that old Iron Bowl, is 2 days after Thanksgiving on the Saturday after it, and when Alabama plays Auburn, and bragging rights for the whole next year happen. And we know all about that. You know probably more about that than me. Even though there's an Alabama wall in my office right here, you grew up in a home with an alumni, so I'm sure there was no Auburn talk in your house. So
yeah, we're definitely bleed, crimson.
You bleed crimson.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well,
roll Tide, roll.
That's right.
But so let's just go off of that. Being in that house growing up, let's start with ladies first. What typically what formed your Thanksgiving views and Thanksgiving loves and dislikes? What was your Thanksgiving like?
Because we lived away from family, we've talked about this before. We were 4 hours away from grandparents and stuff. We always traveled for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but we always traveled for Thanksgiving. And because, at least this is my memory, I could have like the early years wrong, but my memory is we usually spent Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving Day with my mom's family. And then Christmas Day, now we would probably see both of them, both trips. Or we would see both sides.
Because they're not far from each other.
They're like an hour apart. But we would spend Thanksgiving Day with my nanny and papaw. And
which is which
my
parents?
Mom's parents. And my nanny is famous for her pecan pie. And I will be making that this Thanksgiving.
You always do.
I didn't get to make it last year because I was really hardcore and tried losing weight. And I didn't want to get, but this year I'm making it. I'm having a piece of it. Or at least making it.
Okay, let's sidebar there. As you all could probably have tell who have maybe been away and come back, Jessica and I have been on a weight loss journey, and we've done very well with it.
I'm never going to get back to where
but because the reason is because Thanksgiving is the time you typically don't watch your weight. And so what we have decided to do for all of you, like, what are y'all going to do for Thanksgiving? Or what are you doing for Christmas or whatever?
We're just going to have one meal.
We're going to have the meal.
And we're not going to go overboard.
And then we're going to protect the back side of it and the front side of it.
The thing is with weight loss is a lot of times it's more about the season makes you gain weight, not just the one meal.
Right.
Because like all the leftovers and all the pre-Thanksgiving and especially Christmas. But then, like last year, I was so much not wanting to go off track, and I knew it was so new to me that I was afraid of that.
Right, you just started it.
I didn't eat anything.
No, you stayed in the
Christmas
room
or Thanksgiving.
away from temptation.
It was hard. It was really hard. However, anyway, so we would go to my nanny and papa's house, and my nanny, this is the part I did love about Thanksgiving, she made every pie you could ever imagine. And I always thought this was just normal, but then I would go to other people's.
Is pecan your favorite, which is why you kept it?
My favorite.
Yeah.
But she would make apple. She would make cherry. Mom would make chocolate. She would have pumpkin. Like we would have a pie apiece almost. That's how much pie she would have.
Right.
And so I always thought that was normal. And so I would go to like your side of the family and they'll have like 2 pies for all these people. And I'm like, but anyway, like we always had an abundance because we would eat it on it for days, and everybody had a different favorite and all that. So she would spend days ahead making pie, and then of course they would have all the traditional stuff. I remember my mom used to make me eat like so many bites of turkey. She made me, even though it was Thanksgiving. She made me.
Right.
I remember like gagging it down. This is probably like why I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I was forced against my will.
There was a lot of obscure things that were served from different people in the family that growing up I just absolutely abhorred, and I still don't eat to this day because I have too much PTSD about them. But growing up, my family does what typical families do, which is they rotate years. And so,
I don't know if that's typical, but
well, I would say probably for the most part, this year we're doing Thanksgiving with your family. Next year we're doing Thanksgiving with my family, and then you do Christmas the same way.
It is common.
It's more common.
It's common.
I think it's very common to do that.
I don't know if it's typical.
Well, growing up, that's what all my friends' parents did. Yeah, if you had double parents, if it was possible. Now, if you had a family that lived like on the other side of the world. Then either they would come to you or you would have to like make a once every few years trip or something. But most of my family would be like this year's mom, next year's dad, and I would see a lot of that happening, especially within my circle of cousins and uncles and aunts. That's what they would do too because they wanted to align it that way.
Y'all let us know if this is a thing that y'all do or if this is just like David's family culture.
It might be.
I don't know.
But I would talk.
I've heard of that.
But I would talk to my friends at school and church, and
I'm not even talking about like this is your like immediate family. Your whole entire family,
right?
Would go like the mom's house this year, the dad's house, their whole entire extended family.
Yes. Even. Yes, and the way they made that work, and I really don't want to be long-winded on this, but the way they made that work is they would prioritize a day. And so with Thanksgiving, it's easy. This year is dad, next year is mom. And so they would swap it back and forth. Well, then all the siblings would try to do the same thing. So on my mom's side, all of them, for the Thanksgiving that we're with mom, they would be like, well, we're going to do that too. And so we would be together. And the next year, I guess my granny and papa would go see their other family because
that you don't have sucks.
So yeah, but
you're either really happy or you're alone.
And I guess And Papa and Granny would do that.
Because if our kids that's us, I don't know how I would feel.
And that's what Papa and Granny would do. They would go see like their sisters or brothers that were still alive, or they would go see, other people and spend Thanksgiving with somebody else, or something like that. So, but then Christmas was the same way, but we're talking about Thanksgiving right now. So, but growing up, when we did Thanksgiving with my mom's side, as Jessica has told you, it's loud. It's a lot. It's a lot of games.
They're fun though.
It's a lot of fun. It's a
Super
lot
fun.
of sharing stories. We would do Thanksgiving. I remember going down to Anniston, Alabama a lot because that's where my granny's family is a lot of there, and so they would rent out the church, fellowship hall, and we would meet there, or we would go to somebody else's house, or we would come to Granny's house, and that's typically what we would do. On Dad's side, for many years, we would go to Grandma's house, or my mom and dad would host occasionally, or one of my aunts would host occasionally. But then around 1997, I think was the first time we did it, we would go to this place called Doublehead Resort and Lodge. And it was out in about 45 minutes away from my home. And every person, we started out with like 2 or 3 cabins when the family was small. As the family grew, all of the siblings got their own cabin. So Dad got one, Lynn got one, Carol got one, Kathleen got one. And Grandma would rotate who she stayed with depending on how much family could be in town for that. But yeah, we would have the big Thanksgiving lunch at the lodge. And then we would have...
You would stay there like 3 nights.
3 nights. It became like a whole extravaganza.
It's really
yeah.
neat, yeah.
Yeah. Like Aunt Lynn would take a breakfast one morning. Dad would take a dinner one night. They would rotate the meals for there. And if you couldn't get off work, you would come and go before or after work. And
it was
just...
like where the resort place was. It was like all little cabins.
Yep.
And it wasn't that far outside of where everybody lived. Like less than an hour, 30 minutes, whatever.
Yep.
And so if not everyone could come and stay all that time, they would just come when they could.
Yeah.
It was really convenient.
So we had horseback riding the first few years. We had places to play football, playgrounds for the kids. One time they had an arcade with like old games in it, which we thought was so cool. Games we hadn't played since we were kids, and a pool table and things like that. But then as we got older, and we began, traveling more, having to deal with, okay, so-and-so's can't get off work, so-and-so's got college. It really became more of a do what you can and try to make it work. And then as you grew up, was it always Mobile, Pensacola? Always?
It wasn't Pensacola yet. It was my aunt hadn't moved there yet. It was just Fairhope. That's where my grandparents lived.
Right.
And Mobile is where my dad's family was. And so as my grandparents got older, all of my grandparents had passed away. But as they got older and were having to, they had, to go into nursing homes, assisted livings, all this stuff. We moved Thanksgiving to my aunt's house, who now lived in Pensacola, Florida. And so I lived in Mobile in college. Mm-hmm. And so what I would do is I would go and I would be out the whole week of Thanksgiving.
Right.
So I would go over, it was about an hour away. I was over at her house all the time anyway. And I would go over and help her make pies. And it became like our thing. Like we took over my
That's where you learned how to bake pies.
We took over, I helped her. We did all the pies. Mm-hmm. And when she was still around, but she just couldn't do as much. Mm-hmm. And so it became our thing is I would help her make the pies. We would prep the food and then everyone would get there, like Wednesday or whatever. And so I have so many memories of that's like, I have memories at my nanny and papa's house, but I have a lot of memories of me helping her kind of get ready for Thanksgiving too. And we had so much fun doing that.
Yep. I never learned how to cook.
Shocking.
Yeah, but what I would do mainly is keep my brother and our other cousins occupied. So I would have the games going, or we would run outside and play pretend, or build a fort, or things like that. And then they would always call, dinner's ready, come on in, or lunch is ready, come on in, and we would go to the big Thanksgiving lunch or Thanksgiving dinner.
My Thanksgiving plate was this: my Aunt Pam's mashed potatoes, because they are the best.
They are.
Rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Pie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my mom makes really good fruit salad on Thanksgiving every year. Mm-hmm. I would have that. And that's really it.
Mac and cheese?
Yes. But there was a lot of years that mac and cheese was never a staple Thanksgiving food for us.
It is in our house.
I mean, I don't remember it being anyway. We may have had it around. But they would have like the dressing, the mashed potatoes, and green beans and all that other stuff. Sweet potato casserole.
How has it evolved over the years? Like now, if you could do an ideal plate, what typical Thanksgiving food would you maybe even?
I do like the sweet potato casserole now.
Mm-hmm.
That is new. but I really like it. We didn't have this as a kid, but I love corn casserole. Mm-hmm. I don't remember us ever having that. I think that's a new kind of thing.
Right.
But I really like that. So there are things now. I just don't like the turkey and dressing mostly. And like the cranberry sauce.
Is it because it's a meat?
It just grosses me. I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's like a little tougher than chicken. Even when it's like, oh, this is a really good moist turkey. I don't like the flavor of it. I don't like any of it. I don't like
But what's weird is that when you like sandwiches, you like sliced turkey.
It's totally different. It's a totally different texture. It's just different.
It's just thinner.
It's thinner. It has a different taste.
You can
it's not so like meaty.
You can bite right through it.
Yeah, I just do not like turkey. I don't like the giblet gravy and all that. Like, do y'all know what that is? Like,
yes, and it's delicious.
It grosses me out so bad.
Yep.
It grosses me out so bad. I can't even tell y'all. Like, just thinking about it makes me sick.
And of all the desserts, if they said we're only doing one dessert this year, you will scream it has to be pecan pie.
Pecan pie has always been my favorite. Mm-hmm. But I love any kind of.
Do you
dessert.
like pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin's the only one that is not my favorite. I can eat it.
That's that's like synonymous with Thanksgiving. Like everybody has to have it.
To me, it has a really weird texture, and I like pumpkin, but it just has a weird, like gelatiny kind of a texture that I don't love. But I mean, I'll eat it. It's still okay.
Yeah,
it's not my favorite.
My ideal Thanksgiving lunch, well, just about. Okay. Let me reverse it. Let me tell you some things that are typical at Thanksgiving that I will not eat.
Okay,
let's do that. Squash casserole, squash anything. I hate squash.
And I don't even think that's a normal Thanksgiving thing, except for like some people it is.
I see squash something at almost every Thanksgiving meal I go to.
Okay, well, it was never around our Thanksgiving.
I love green beans with a passion. I'm not a fan of green bean casserole. I don't know what else is in there besides mushrooms or something, but there's something
cream
else.
Mushroom soup and like French fried onions, but you probably would like it now.
I probably would like it more now, but I also don't like onions very much either. So
but it's those French fried kind.
Yeah, well,
you like those.
Yeah, but I'm typically if I have a little bit of room on my plate, I might get a spoonful, but I don't usually eat green bean casserole.
Okay.
I'm a fan of it. I love ham, I love turkey, I love gravy, I love all of that. I also don't like a lot of desserts that are.
You don't like fruity things.
I really don't like fruit in my dessert. I like fruit separately. I'm not. I know I'm weird. I would rather eat the fruit and then have dessert. I don't want to have fruit in my dessert. So cherry pie,
He doesn't even like apple pie.
Apple pie, peach cobbler. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I know everybody's screaming at me right now. David, what's wrong with you? That's just the way.
As American as apple pie.
If it's all we got, I'll eat it. But again,
you don't really like pumpkin either.
Going back to it's not being picky. It's just there's always also going to be going to be chocolate pie, or there's also going to be pecan pie, or there's going to be all these other pies that I really like.
You keep saying that you like pecan pie. I have never seen you eat pecan pie.
Because there's always another pie next to it, and I don't want to overeat everything. And also, you love pecan pie, and I'm going to make sure you get it.
I don't eat a whole pie.
I know, but everybody else does, and so there's going to be one slice left. I'm not getting it. You're getting it, and that's just the way it is.
Oh goodness.
But anyway. But I remember being a kid. There was like some like pink cotton candy looking marshmallowy, nasty smelling dessert that somebody brought, and Dad made me eat it because I guess somebody important to him brought it, so he made me eat a spoonful of it, and needless to say, whatever I'd eaten before that ended up on the plate.
And you embarrassed him worse by doing that.
Exactly. But
this is the thing, like, why did our parents used to make us eat stuff?
Because again,
you're never gonna like something
once again, like I just said, it ain't about whether you want me to eat it or I need to eat it. It's because so and so brought it and you want them to be happy that your kid ate it.
For me, I was so picky that my mom was constantly thinking if I tried stuff
that you would like
just
it.
like we do to Mark.
Yes.
If you try this, you'll like it, but it never went that way. It always made me hate it worse.
But we ate what we ate. We enjoyed the meal. Did your family go around the table and everybody do what they're thankful for?
I remember us doing that a couple times, but it wasn't very common because what happened was we outgrew like a table very fast.
Yes.
So the kids would be off doing their own thing, at another little table.
But did the adults have a moment of reflection?
I have no idea. I don't remember that. Maybe. I don't
For
know.
those of you that couldn't hear because she leaned forward, I'm sorry.
I said maybe. I don't know. I don't really remember that.
We typically now, as adults, I don't think we really do. There's so many of us.
This is the thing. Like, I always feel like it's so cheesy because we all have so much to be thankful for. How do you just go, I'm thankful for,
Well, and also doing what we do, we say thanks to God all the time. I mean, and we encourage people. I don't Thanksgiving. I take a moment and talk about it, but I talk about being thankful and praising God all year long because
Yeah.
I mean, every day you
that's
should.
like the whole thing of people say, I don't like Valentine's Day. It's a made up holiday. You should love all year.
Yes.
And I always come back at them and go, and what about Thanksgiving?
Yes.
It's
You're
a
right.
day. It's a day that we focus on it.
Do we only thank Jesus for coming to the world as a baby on Christmas?
Right.
Yeah,
So,
it's the same
I mean,
thing.
it's the same thing. On Valentine's Day, what I love is it's a day set aside to just tell everybody even more so how much you love them.
Yeah, don't sing about the cross ever again. Only on Easter. Don't ever talk about the blood of the cross ever again.
That is a personal pet peeve of mine.
I agree, 100%.
I like Valentine's Day.
And I do agree, and we have talked about this because we will look at each other from a monetary perspective, but also just from a season of life perspective, and go, what do we do for Christmas and Valentine's Day this year?
But this is the thing. Like for me, it's not about the gift. It's
No.
not about though how much should you spend.
But what I'm saying is most people pressurize that way too much, and I
Now,
agree that you can't do that.
Do I expect flowers on Valentine's Day?
And why would I not?
I'm just saying.
But here's your thing: if you're going to do it on Valentine's Day, then have the same attitude if you do it all the other times throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the people who say we aren't participating in Valentine's Day because we do it all times a year. Okay, well, we do lots of other stuff all times a year, but we also celebrate it
Then
on
why
one
not
day.
do it then too? Exactly.
Right.
I'm with you.
So
We're on the same page
we're on the
about
same
that.
page. I'm sorry. That's a personal pet peeve of mine. Anyway,
What about non-food traditions? Do you have any in your family?
I was going to say the biggest one really after I started doing the pies with my aunt and all that, is we would get up the next morning bright and early and we would go Black Friday shopping. And it was amazing. And now they have ruined Black Friday shopping. So
Go ahead, honey. Get on that soapbox and yell to the top of the roofs.
it's just now it starts out so early. Well, first they backed it up to do it on Thanksgiving. I didn't like that either.
Forget about Prime Monday. Amazon's Black Friday at the time of this recording starts tomorrow.
Walmart's already had it going for 2 weeks now. And it's like, and the deals aren't as good. It's not as much fun. We would make like a whole day of it. We would go to lunch. It was like just so fun. And then when we got married, we would go. Not that you enjoyed it as much as I did, but now it's just.
There was the being with you and having the rush of it. Like, no, as a man, okay, ladies, for all of you that want to get your men shopping,
Oh, Lord.
here's how you do it because this is what worked on me. Here's the list, honey. We got to find it. Don't go in and go, let's see what we find. Men don't want that. I don't want the.
You want to bag it and tag it.
I don't want the idea of we might be here for 7 hours and never buy anything. No,
I think
no.
I'm getting a little worked up because my Fitbit just said to take a moment and just practice my breathing.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a soapbox item for her.
I don't know how I could stop.
But no, I'm telling you, there is a true psychology to this. If you want a man to be passionate about it with you, then you've got to put it in ways they can understand. I remember we listened to Rick and Bubba growing up, and Rick would be like, "Okay, when my wife says I want you to take the kid and get his hair cut, okay, I have to treat this like a football game. If he throws a tantrum, that's a score on me. If he sits there quietly, that's a score for me. You know, and you have to literally put it in perspective of the only way I can get through this mentally is to put it in parameters that make me excited about doing this.
Lord.
It's the same thing about no man wants to get up and just go work out. No, let's go play a basketball game. And if I am working out, put on music that I love or let me watch a TV show that I love. The idea of all the laborious, stupid things that everybody says, I'm excited about this. No, you're not. You have to get yourself in the headspace to do it. And so
I just loved
Shopping's the same way.
the deal. I loved making it a whole day. And then one time I got to do it with Jen so I don't know if we're going to talk about
No,
how
go ahead.
Thanksgiving changed once we got married, but there was
that's the last thing.
There were several years in there where we didn't get to go home because it was too far. And so I got to go Black Friday shopping with Jen, and that was really fun because we made it a whole day. We went to breakfast, we went to lunch. I mean, I don't think we got home till like that afternoon.
Nope.
And it was so fun. But now it's just like, order it. It'll be here in a few days.
Well, let me ask you this. There typically is a pendulum when it comes to things like this. But are the days of getting out of your house to go, can stores ever recover? Or is the digital world simply just here to take over?
I don't think it'll ever be like it was, like in terms of.
Because people are seeking out more out of the house experiences again.
I don't think they'll ever go away because there are things that you need when you need it.
Right.
And there are people who like to try on their clothes and see their clothes. So I think in some ways it won't ever go away. But I definitely think that a lot of stores are having trouble keeping up with the online
Do you
shoppers.
think that stores will, if
And like the malls. I miss malls.
I do too, but that's a big part of my childhood too. And what I'm asking is, I'm not as big into the business side of this. You're actually, believe it or not, a better business mind than I am when it comes to this stuff. Would a store do better to go, if you want this, the only time we're selling it is in stores? Would people say, well, then I'm just not buying it. I don't care.
I just think they do so much better online. Like they're able to, when you have a store, you got to pay the people that work there. Mm-hmm. You got to have crowd control. You've got to have the displays and all that. And I just think it's probably more cost effective, even though they got the shipping cost and you pay the people that.
If it's all about the almighty dollar, it's easier to put it on a page than it is to make a store about it. But then,
you don't get as much impulse shopping.
True.
So I think it's a double-edged thing, and I think they always want to get people into the store, but then they also have people who just only online shop.
Yeah.
I like both, so I hope that there's always both.
For me, there really weren't a whole lot of non-traditional things when it comes to Thanksgiving. We would always watch football.
I watch the parade.
I still do. The parade was not a big deal at my house.
It wasn't a big deal. We usually had it on.
I mean, somebody had it on. Whether my papa had it on or grandma had it on, somebody had it on. But I'm just saying, the whole thing of get there early so we can all hunker around and everybody watches the parade. No, we never did that. I don't think but there's some families that's their tradition. They get up, they make breakfast, they watch it, and then they do Thanksgiving later in the day or something. That's really what they do. We didn't do that.
Okay, so now do you want to talk about?
Yes. How has it changed for us?
So when we got married, well, actually, when we were not even engaged yet.
You did double head with me.
When we had only been dating, we started dating in April. Mm-hmm. So this was that coming up Thanksgiving.
Like 6 months later.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
David said, we're going to I don't know how it came of it that y'all invited me. Y'all invited me to come.
Well, didn't I also go with your dad to the Iron Bowl that year? Or was that
was after we
got married, yeah.
So anyway, it just came up this opportunity that I could go with y'all for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I remember being kind of torn because I was like, well, I have this tradition with my family, but like I said, I don't really like the food. I was in the middle of nursing school. I didn't have as much time off or something.
And to fairness, your mom and dad, and we'll talk about this when we get to Christmas. Christmas is 3x to Thanksgiving for them. They love Thanksgiving, but Christmas Day is a much bigger deal.
Like we've always said, Christmas is so much more of a season,
right?
And with the traveling, and then anyway.
So you felt, what I'm saying is you felt less guilty about missing Thanksgiving with them than you would have Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so we really wanted to be together as much as we could. Honestly, that was it. Mm-hmm. And
she liked me.
We wanted to be together all the time, and so I had this week off of nursing school. And I wanted to be with you. And so I went to Doublehead with y'all, and I got to hang out with your family. I remember studying, all the time during that. I had my nursing books with me.
You had your books with you?
Of course, we did not stay in the same room
no.
because we weren't married, and that was awkward a little bit. But
hi, here's David's aunt. Have fun.
I stayed with David's aunt. She's really nice, but it was weird. But we got to hang out and, see each other on a holiday, which I think is important. We got to see... how it was like a glimpse into if we get married and what's it going to be like, mm-hmm. sort of. But then once we did get married.
And she's still here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. And then once we did get married, once we moved to Texas, the first year we came home for Thanksgiving because
yes.
our thought was we can choose one, Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's too far to do both. So the first year we chose Thanksgiving because you were going to go to the Iron Bowl. Mm-hmm. With my dad.
Yep.
So we're like, that'll be great. And then I think my mom and dad came right after Christmas to visit us.
They did.
So we're like, we won't,
And my mom and dad came not long after they did.
But I remember that first Christmas of us not being at home, and we said we will never do this again.
Never, ever, ever.
Because it was so depressing waking up on Christmas morning and us being like, here's your present.
Was Christmas on a Sunday that year? Was that another reason why we couldn't leave?
I don't think it wasn't on a Sunday because I remember us having Christmas morning together. Mm-hmm. But maybe it was closed or something too. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I just remember us being like, we can't do this again. We're not doing this again. So after that,
we'll talk about Christmas traditions when we get there.
Right. But. So after that, because we went home for Christmas every year, we had Thanksgiving by ourselves in San Antonio. And it was very interesting. I actually really liked Thanksgiving by ourselves because what we did was we went to restaurants. Mm-hmm. And we could
Namely,
eat whatever.
someplace like Cracker Barrel or Fur's Buffet or something
And I could eat whatever I wanted. I didn't have to eat.
You didn't have to eat it. Yeah.
There was all kinds of different foods. I actually really like that, besides like the lack of family, obviously.
I just looked at the year. That year, Christmas was on a Saturday. So we would have had to come right back.
But a lot of times you missed.
Yeah.
Like you would miss a Sunday.
But I had just gotten there and I couldn't miss a Sunday.
No, I don't think it was that. I think we chose to miss the Sunday for November instead of December.
Right.
That was why.
So that's what I'm saying, because I burned my I burned my Sunday early, so I couldn't burn another one.
But we chose that.
So we chose that.
But we said we'll never choose that again.
Correct.
So then we had Thanksgiving by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I honestly did not mind that at all.
Nope.
It was fine. I mean, we missed our family, but
as the kids have gotten older, we want to be with family as much as we can be, and thankfully now we live closer. And over the last few years, my mom's side has done away from home. They've done like Gatlinburg or something like that. Yeah.
One time they came to us in San Antonio.
Yes, they did. That was fun.
Your granny and papa and your mom and dad. That was really fun. I actually cooked. Well, I mean, we ordered the turkey and dressing because I couldn't do it. But I made all the sides and I made the pies. It was really fun to have that in our house. When the kids were little, that happened. But I will say, like, being alone on Thanksgiving, just us, was way easier than being just us on Christmas.
Yep.
So we just chose to do it that way. And I'm so glad, though. I mean, that was fine. We did fine with it, but we did miss our family. So I'm glad now we're close enough. Now, my mom and dad now go back down to Florida.
With his brother and...
well, it's my mom's sister, and then they go over to Mobile for my dad's brothers are there. But so for us to travel to be with them would be like 10 hours or something.
Be a little harder.
Too far. So we go pretty much every year. We go with either your mom's side or your dad's side. And so... and
this year's my dad's side.
Right. And they're not going to Doublehead this year for the first time.
Nope. Doublehead has been bought out, and all the cabins are now individually owned and rented out by the private owners. And so it's so much harder.
But they've done it every other year since I
was 15 years old.
And we missed it.
13 years old.
We missed a few years being in Texas, but ever since we've been back over this side of the country, we've been to them. So our Thanksgivings have looked different over the years. They really have. And I'm okay with that. I feel like we've tried to make the most of wherever we are, and realizing that I feel like so many people are so stuck in their traditions sometimes, and it's hard when things have to change. But we've had to change a lot.
Right.
So I enjoy every time is different over the years, and you can kind of look.
It will be interesting as we get older, and we have grandkids.
Because this is the thing. Like David's grandparents are still alive, 3 of them.
3 out of 4.
So the holidays very much center around them and all of their extended children. And
not to be morbid, but I'm a little nervous because I'm probably going to lose all of them in the next immediate future. Unfortunately,
I don't know. Like they're all in pretty good health.
They're all in good health, but the fact that they're all around the same age and they're all old.
I lost all of mine really close together.
You did.
And so it's nice remembering like my nanny's pie and stuff.
I lost my granddad young. He was only 70 when I lost him.
It's really sad when you get to holidays and you remember the past and you remember people that aren't there. It's really sad. Yeah. And that's why, like, my nanny's pecan pie is really important to me, and the different things is because it's like it keeps them alive in your mind.
Absolutely.
So we just enjoy the people in our life when we have them, and I'm so glad that our kids are getting to spend time with their great grandparents.
Right.
But I'm excited for Thanksgiving. We are excited just to have some downtime.
Yeah.
To chill, to relax.
Our kids love being at Nani and Poppy's house or Grammy and Grandpa's house.
That's where they want to be.
Now, the pool's closed.
Yeah.
But
they still love it.
But they love it. Yeah. Mom and Dad are fun. And
none of them like Thanksgiving food.
No, there's stuff all over the house to do. And the couches are comfortable. The TV's big. So it's all good stuff. Everybody loves to be home.
So we're excited about that.
So we'll be in Sweet Home, Alabama this week. And we want to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you. We're thankful for God, we're thankful for each other, and we're thankful for our children, and all the list of long things we can be thankful for.
We have a lot to be thankful for.
But we're very thankful for all of you watching and listening to this right now. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. Make sure you leave your comments. If you want to email us, you can email us at married15tolife@mail.com. thanksgiving.com. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, 5-star rating, leave some comments there. Share it with somebody. If you have a friend that's like, man, I know so-and-so would love to listen to these crazy people talking, then please do that. We would appreciate it. And
We need a crazy people talking podcast.
we do. Well, if you definitely need it, we are that. And we will always be that. Jess, I'm thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you.
I love you.
I love you.
All right. Until next time, I'm David.
I'm Jess.
I'm the husband.
I'm the wife.
And we're married.
15 to life.
Have a good time, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.